Why is community essential? Right. One, it's and I'm going to go through this very quickly. One, it's for support. Support. It's your support system, right? We're talking about how it's why community is important for your personal growth and development, especially just advancing. Our mission at the African American Collective centers around the economic advancement of the African immigrants, and you're having a community one provides you that support system. Okay, that means in challenging times, anybody who has gone through the immigration cycle knows it can get stressful. Even if you had everything laid out for you before you moved to the US, it's still a challenge. It's still the inability to work for a season, the inability to do certain things. You can't drive, you can't operate a certain way. Those things, those restrictions tend to strip you down of a certain level of power. And so sometimes you need to be encouraged. I was talking to a gentleman recently, and he was talking about how he's just moved here about a year ago from a different country in Europe, and the struggles he had faced. And somebody said, "Hey, reach out to Namdi," and so now he's beginning to work his way, and I know how he felt after my conversation with him, right? I know exactly, he left feeling encouraged, he left feeling like, okay, there was hope, he left with more sense of clarity, he left with new connections. I introduced him to other people, right, who were in his line of work, who might even be of better, who might be better resources and better helpful for him. That is the support system you get from community. Right? Another reason why community is essential is shared knowledge. Right? You're learning from collective experiences. What I've gone through, I can share with you. In that way, you don't have to go through the same thing. I can leverage your experiences as well. I can connect with you to say, when you were, I remember you said you had done this before. How did that go? What did you learn from this? What happened? Right? And then you can. I can take advantage of the knowledge base within the community instead of having to figure it out by myself or navigate the systems, Googling and chat GPT and through my way through life. Nothing beats experience. Nothing beats experience. Nothing beats just having that interaction with people who have gone through it, and saying, "Hey, what did you do when you were in this situation? How did you handle it?" And then come back and say, "Well, this is what I did, this is what worked, and this is what did not work." And so now you're not trying to figure out whether the information you have is correct or not. You have real world reviews. That is the power of community, and that's why it's essential. Another reason why community is important is accountability, right? Staying consistent with your goals is easier when you have a village cheering you on, when people are watching and cheering you on. Let me start with watching. Just knowing that you are not, this journey that you're on, people know you're doing this, and people are paying attention to people who care about you are paying attention. And even sometimes they might not even care. They might just be, it's family, right? It's not always all rosy within family circles. When it comes to your community, but knowing that there's people on your corner, people paying attention, people who are rooting for your success, right? Who are cheering you on. That helps you show up even when you're not, even when you're discouraged, even when it's not all convenient to keep pushing on, right? So that is something so powerful, so powerful, right? You want to make sure, like it helps to have that support system. It helps to have that group, that set of people who are paying attention to you, to your moves, and they're holding you accountable. Directly or indirectly, they're checking it. Right? They say, "Hey, how's everything going with that thing you're doing?" That's accountability. Even if they don't intend to, even if it's just a check-in, a natural, like, what's going on with you, or how are you, right? That check-in jolts something back in you that, hey, people are actually paying attention to this thing. Or because I've shared this openly, now there is an unconscious push to make sure I continue doing it, right? It has its benefits. It has its rewards, right? Yeah, and I know, yes, there's the pressure part and all of that, but just people with good intention rooting for you, checking in to see how much progress you're making with your goals, goes a long way, right? So accountability, helping you stay consistent, is another reason why community is essential.